Well, hello, overcomers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, Heavenly Bread. If this is your first time here, welcome. This channel is about living victoriously as overcomers through Jesus Christ. In today's video, I am bringing you an attribute of God to ponder on, as we've been doing from the beginning of the month. And the attribute to ponder on today is God is a rewarder. God is a rewarder. That's right. God is no cheat. God does not cheat. He rewards. And the scriptures for today are Genesis chapter 15 verse 1, Matthew chapter 5 verse 12, Mark chapter 10 verse 28 to 30, Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6, and Revelation chapter 19 verse 7 to 9. I'm not going to read these scriptures, all these scriptures, because they are long, but I'm going to reference them as we go along. And we will start with Genesis chapter 15 verse 1. God told Abram in that scripture that he, God, is his exceeding great reward. God told Abraham that he, God, was Abraham's, but he was Abram at the time, that he was Abram's exceeding great reward. Now we know that Abram, because God had told him to leave his land, to leave his homeland, a place that he was familiar with, a place that he had his family at, and God asked him to leave and to go to a land that he, God, would show him, a strange place that Abram never knew of. But he obeyed God. He did. And God promised that he would be his exceeding great reward. Not only did God didn't say that he was only going to be his reward, which is great in itself. But listen to the superlatives. God promised that he would be Abraham's exceeding great reward. And God delivered. At the time, Abram had no children. God told him that he would give him children. He would bless him with children as numerous as the stars in the sky. And God delivered. Abraham had many descendants from his one child, Isaac. And God made a special promise that he, Abraham, and his descendants would be a special people to him, God. So spiritually, the children of Abraham, his descendants, are blessed. They are spiritually blessed by God. God delivered on his promise. And not only did he bless Abraham in these ways, he also blessed Abraham financially. He made Abraham wealthy. Abraham was a wealthy man. So God delivered on his promise. As we see from that scripture, Genesis chapter 15 verse 1. And as we go through the other scriptures in the Bible, we see where God has always delivered on his promises. He's a rewarder. He rewards. In Matthew chapter 5 verse 12, we are told to rejoice. We are told to rejoice because our reward is great in heaven. We have a great reward in heaven. So it tells us to rejoice. We have a crown in heaven for that very thing. It's called a crown of rejoicing. We rejoice, and in heaven we got a crown. We got to wear a crown of rejoicing in heaven. That's the reward for rejoicing here on earth. And the same for righteousness and a few other crowns that we will be wearing because of following God, of being obedient to God. He's a rewarder. Then in Revelation chapter 19 verse 7 to 9, there is a dinner that awaits, the marriage supper of the Lamb, where we will be having dinner with God. Can you imagine having dinner with God? Can you imagine what will the menu be like? What will the conversation be like around God's table? You have to be like, there is no restaurant on this earth that can be compared to that. There is no menu on the restaurants here on earth that can be compared to that. This is God's dinner. Having dinner with God, for being obedient, for following Him, for being His disciples, being His children, for listening to His call, for obeying His call. He's a rewarder. God is not a cheat. He rewards. And what about seeking God? What about seeking God? Because we still seek God. When we want something more of God, we go to Him and seek Him. And people who don't really know God, but they want Him, they look for Him, they seek Him. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 29 and Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6 says, anyone who looks for God, who seeks God diligently with all their heart, they will find Him. God will make Himself available. He will present Himself. He says, anyone who seeks diligently with all their heart, you will not be seeking in vain. No, you will find God. He makes Himself available. He'll show up. God is a rewarder. That's what He says. He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. God is no cheat. But not only does He bless us, reward us in heaven, but right here on earth. He rewards on earth. Mark chapter 10 verse 28 to 30, Peter was telling Jesus how he and the other disciples had left everything that they had to follow Jesus. Jesus told him that anyone who leaves houses, children, mother, father, sisters, brothers, lands, He said they will be rewarded. not only in heaven, but right here, right now, on earth. He said they will get 100-fold. He guaranteed that. So God is a rewarder, not a cheat. He doesn't cheat. He rewards. He's an exceeding great rewarder. So when the enemy comes in to speak in your ears, to bring discouragement, when the enemy brings discouragement, when the enemy wants to paint God as a cheat, you know what to do. It's not the truth. Got to rebuke the enemy. God is not a cheat at all. He is a rewarder, an exceedingly great rewarder. I pray that you would be encouraged as you are reminded of who God is. As you are reminded that God is a rewarder, that you can hold on to his promises. I pray that you would be in expectancy of all that he has promised. You hold on. You hold on. Don't give up on God. Don't give up on God. God doesn't lie. He's not a cheat. No one will do anything in obedience and not have God's reward. He's not a cheat. He doesn't take something for nothing. No, no, no. He rewards. He's a rewarder in heaven, and like that scripture says, even right here on earth. So be encouraged. Stand steadfast. Look in expectancy for God and to God. You will be rewarded. I pray that this reminder of who God is will encourage you, will strengthen you. And I pray that you would share that video with others so that they too can be reminded of who God is and be encouraged and be strengthened. So please share that video, comment, subscribe, and like this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow in tomorrow's One a Day video. Thank you. Bye-bye.